My name is Carmela Levy-David, principal at John F. Kennedy Learning Center. Welcome to our campus. We're honored to have been chosen to host this event as we talk about school safety. Our school has nurtured several generations of learners with a strong emphasis on service to others. We enjoy the support of parents and community partners like Avance, the Church of Incarnation, and the Sixth Floor Museum. Representatives from these organizations are joining us today. They have been instrumental in our success as we prepare students to be college and career ready. We're proud to partner with them in our efforts to serve our students. We're also proud of our students who come to school each day ready to learn. I have a few of them standing with me today. These are some of our student leaders and PEP squad members. We begin each school day with the Kennedy Pledge, which they will share at this time.
John F. Kennedy pledge. I pledge to treasure John F. Kennedy as a place to learn and grow by being honest and fair to all I know, to show respect and be kind to all I meet, to be responsible and good for every each day of the week, to strive to be the best I can be so all can succeed in the school community.
Thank you again for joining us. Great job, guys, great job. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Sylvia Reyna, Chief of School Leadership.
Thank you, and thank you to our boys and girls who are here with us on this morning before school. And thank you so much to our parents also for being here. August 26th, our first day of school, is fast approaching, and we've spent this summer preparing for a great year. Principals spent much of this summer engaged in rigorous professional development, and each school, I am proud to say, is beginning this school year with a permanent principal in place, not a single interim at all. We have fewer teacher vacancies this time than we did 2 previous years. Everyone has been working to that common purpose to advance the goals of Destination 2020 and to build the successes of last year. Keeping the main thing is student achievement. And this summer we received encouraging news about our student achievement in our district. Dallas ISD students met or exceeded the state growth in most categories on the STAR test and the end of course test. The district met all 4 of the new accountability standards set by the state. Highest number of graduates also have been recorded in the last 31 years of Dallas ISD. We were up 345 students from last year. The 4-year graduation rate has also increased, up 4 percentage points from last year. The completion rate increased up 1 percentage point, and our dropout rate decreased. The fund balance reached a high of $275 million, an all-time high in the history of Dallas ISD. That's just a snapshot of the exciting work being accomplished here in Dallas. We are moving forward with anticipation for another successful school year. I'm pleased to also announce that students will return to safer schools. The board approved $4.5 million to upgrade security at schools, and those upgrades have been installed during the summer. Chief Craig Miller will outline our progress and what students and parents can expect to see when they return, when that bell rings on August the 26th. Chief Miller.
Greetings. In our nation's history, significant events that happen in the world shape the way each of us lives our lives. In 1999, the Columbine Massacre forever shaped school law enforcement, which led to 9/11, which forever changed the lives of everyone in the world, which then proceeded to the 2006 Virginia Tech shooting, which ultimately has led us to why we're here with these safety improvements, which is a result of 8 months ago in December, the Newtown shooting took place in Sandy Hook, there in Connecticut. The day that that happened, we held a press conference at Dallas ISD, and Mr. Miles and myself agreed that we didn't know, as everyone in the country wanted to know, how could we make improvements and what was going on with us and how would this affect us. And we said at that time that we will be better as a result of this catastrophe that took place in Connecticut. And now, 8 months later, I can say very safely that we are better. We just after Sandy Hook happened on a Friday, that next Monday we formed a task force. We went out to the schools, to the 150 elementary schools in the district. As we visited those schools, we talked to campus administrators, we talked to teachers, we talked to parents, and we got the direction that we really think that we needed to go. And as a result of that, in January, we came back with some recommendations, and those recommendations really hinged upon a few major things. Primarily, it dealt with physical security, because that's what we think the answer is. And so as the kids get ready to come back to school, we've taken this $4.5 million that I'm so thankful that the Board of Trustees approved for us to have to make this school year much safer for everybody that's going to be involved. Now, these will be these changes that we made won't be something that you guys will necessarily realize, but it will be things that the people in the schools and the parents that come to the schools will notice. First, they're going to see the buzzer and the intercom systems, just like the one we have here at JFK. You'll be able to see that in just a little bit. We're going to have the camera systems installed at every school. We have in all 150 elementary schools, we're going to have camera systems that'll be fed back to the campuses. As another part of the $4.5 million, we increased our cameras at our secondary campuses and finished them out. We have very intricate camera systems in our secondary schools, ranging from $100,000 to $200,000 that we use, that feeds back to us so that we can know what's going on. In addition to the cameras at the elementary schools and the buzzer systems, you know, one of the things that we tried to target was the 1,600 portables that we have in our district, and we took and we actually used an optical eye port that we put into those doors, which we now will allow the teachers to be able to stand as much as 7 feet away from the doors and be able to see what's taking place. The final part of our process will actually be card readers. Those card readers will be installed as we go into the fall, and those card readers will allow us to have limited access. So really what we've done is we've gone into the schools and we provided a stronger physical security barrier to make it more difficult for a person to get into the schools, and we feel like that's the direction to go. Additionally to the Newtown things, we in the police department have done a number of active shooter trainings. Active shooters is a scary word, but it's a reality in the world we live in today. And I think that the training that we've done within our own department, using closed down DISD facilities to take advantage of those and to show officers practical exercises and how to approach that, and then our relationship with the Dallas Police Department has made us more prepared in the event an incident should take place at one of the schools. Additionally, I want to thank the Board of Trustees because we got 10 more officer positions this year for the Dallas Independent School District Police Department. And, you know, just to kind of talk a little bit about our police department, a lot of people don't realize that with 135 sworn police officers, the Council of Great City Schools has a recommendation of 1 officer per 1,000 students. And Mr. Miles and I are talking about going that direction to where we ultimately will have 1 officer, which will put us near 158 sworn officers, and we'll do that as we go forward in the budget years. But I do think that the extra officers will be beneficial to the district. We'll see that, I know, within our own department. It'll help us be more responsive to the needs of the campuses. Also, there's going to be some changes this year, primarily in the secondary schools, and those deal with the new laws that are going to go into effect in September, Senate Bill 393 and Senate Bill 1114. Those will greatly affect the way that we enforce citations at the secondary campuses, and it'll be a much more emphasis on the pipeline to prison process and trying to keep kids in school and not put them in the criminal justice system. So with that in mind, I think that's all I have to say. Do y'all have any questions?
Chief, what do you think is primary, first and foremost, in terms of overall safety that you've provided with these mechanisms that you'll see this school on?
I think that our task force showed us that we were vulnerable and that there was a lot of open doors on our campuses. And I think when you work in an environment, schools were designed for openness years ago, but the world we know has changed. And I think that by taking the exterior, the perimeter, and making it, hardening it, and making it more difficult for people to get into a school, I think that's the physical security changes that we've made is the direction to go. And I fully believe that, and I think that the enhancements we've made will make the campuses much safer and much more difficult for people to penetrate.
Chief, the role of those extra 10 officers, are they helping with on-campus stuff, or what's the role of these additional officers?
Well, just to kind of put it in perspective, with our 135 police officers, the Dallas ISD Police Department, really with 1,050 chiefs of police in the state of Texas, 900 of them have less than 30 people in their department. In actuality, I don't think a lot of the Metroplex realizes that our police department is actually, in the state of Texas, one of the top 5% of the largest police departments in the state. I know people think of Dallas and Fort Worth and Arlington, and they are significantly larger than us, but in the course of the state, we're one of the largest police departments that there is. And we're our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week coverage, and we answer our own calls, and we have a patrol component, but we also have the campus officers. And I think the intent for these extra officers is to use them on the campuses to make the campuses safer and to help the administrators with problems as they might arise.
Chief, can you clarify the card readers? Is that for all doors, only front doors, all schools period, or just elementary schools? The actual card reader part, can you just clarify that?
Yeah, the design right now is that the card readers will go into the 150 elementary schools. You're going to have the buzzer intercom system, much like they have here at JFK. All the elementary schools will have that. The card readers will actually be 2 to a campus at the elementary schools, and that's going to make it so that the people come only through, the only people that can access the school are going to be the people with the cards.
Chief, you mentioned the active shooter scenarios. Can you walk us through a little bit more of this additional training that you guys did over the summer?
Well, it's not just in the summer. Actually, following Newtown, we have a great advantage here in having some schools that are vacant that we can use. And what we did was we would give ourselves situations working with the Dallas Police Department, because if an incident happens in our school, generally speaking, a lot of people don't realize this, we're in 7 different cities. So we have to work with all the police departments in those 7 cities so that they have an expectation of what we're going to do, and in turn we'll have an expectation of what they're going to do. But in training with the Dallas Police Department, you know, we would give ourselves situations. We would use something called simunitions, which are kind of rubber bullets that we would use, and that gave the input, made it appear more real, reality-based training. And I think as we went through these, we put situations and scenarios in place. The officers responded to those, and then we would debrief after those to see, okay, was that the best way to handle that problem, or was there another way to handle that problem? And I think we learned a lot from one another, and we did that multiple times throughout the spring, where we actually bring all of our officers together, keep them over, and have them go through that training with one another.
Chief, can you speak to, excuse me, principal/teacher personnel training prior to this move toward enhancing campus security? At your secondary school level, you always had essentially, at the high school level, metal detectors at the front doors, et cetera, et cetera. There was supposed to be monitors at campuses to ensure whoever was coming into school was supposed to be there. We've seen several circumstances where people were accessing schools regardless of going through those monitors. What's changed, although you have the tools, what's changed in terms of the training of the people who will be overseeing these schools when you guys aren't here?
You know, I think awareness has changed. I think that's the key. I think that people in schools are more aware. As I said, in '99, Columbine forever changed the way I think school administrators looked at campuses, because we first saw that we were vulnerable to an attack. I think now we look at what happened at Sandy Hook, and no one ever thought something would happen at an elementary school. I think awareness is really the key here, and communications. In our district, we're fortunate that we have our own independent school district police department. Dr. Rainier and her staff, we meet with them, we talk with them. I have a weekly meeting as being a part of the core team with them. We share concerns, we share issues at the campuses, and you know, really the key, I think, to this whole thing is communication, and one another getting to know what expectations we have of them as administrators, and them as administrators having an idea of what actually should the police be doing and what should they expect the police to be doing.
Well, one of the reasons why I asked Chief is that not only here at Kennedy, but around the corner at Chavez and other schools, a lot of parents like to come to these schools, whether it be midday for lunch to see their children. They come in a little earlier before the school day ends. How do you deal with this rapport with families who want accessibility, but also dealing with the issue of security?
Well, I think that's established early in the year. I think the principals at the schools and their staffs meet with the parents. They let the parents know the expectations. You know, around the country after Newtown, there were severe limitations put on in many schools because there was an immediate fear to where, you know, actually they limited some schools. And I know even in our own district, we have schools where we say that we're going to limit the number of days that actually parents can come into the school and have lunch with their kids. You know, and if you limit that by 2 days or 3 days, then you know you're going to have less foot traffic in and out of the schools on those days. And I think taking advantage of programs like that don't actually cost any money but make good common sense are good things for them to do. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody, and joining us as we discuss our changes in security. And I'd like to invite all of you now to share with us as we will be showing you some of the changes that we've made here at Kennedy and also at other elementary schools in the district. Thank you so much.